Good afternoon. I am Professor WinkiBottam, Doctor of Political Science from Harvard University, and certifiable genius. My student Veronica once said to me, Professor WinkiBottam, I don't fully understand political ideologies. It's all so difficult and complex. At least that's what I think she said to me. Her mouth was full at the time, and I'm usually hearing one of Beethoven's symphonies in my head, so sometimes it's hard to understand people. But the truth is that political ideologies are not introduced to us at the highest levels of academia. Rather, they are something that can be traced back to our earliest childhood readings. Now, for a fine example of how political ideologies can be found in children's literature, we are going to examine one notable children's author, the one and only Dr. Seuss. Now, I'm not precisely sure which institution granted Seuss his doctoral degree, but I can only assume that he, like me, was a man of higher learning. Now, we can see Seuss's politics in many of his works. For example, The Sneetches is a call for racial tolerance, The Lorax is environmentalist liberal propaganda, and, of course, Hop on Pop, anti-authoritarian. But the tale I wish to discuss today is Green Eggs and Ham, a story which expresses Seuss's support for the homosexual agenda. However, what the homosexual agenda includes, aside from the occasional share concert, is still a subject for debate. Sam I Am is clearly trying to seduce our protagonist into trying green eggs and ham, an obvious euphemism for anal sex, an activity in which a phallus is inserted into the rectum. Now, Sam's seduction starts innocently enough. A cute little introduction told through rhyme is designed to put our target at ease and lower his defenses. Of course, our protagonist is shown to be merely a misguided homophobic who has already decided he doesn't like Sam I Am merely because he is a homosexual. Now, our protagonist politely declines Sam's offer, but Sam remains persistent. Sam suggests perhaps another location. Here or there might be more preferable to him, but our hero steadfastly clings to his heterosexuality. So, Sam I Am decides to invite his victim back to his house. However, he remains stubborn. Sam next boldly asks to try it with a mouse. It is a common homosexual activity to insert a rodent into the rectal cavity, even though it often requires minor surgery to remove. Sam next asks if he would like to try it in a box. what the author is saying here is that our protagonist is thinking inside the box of social norms, and he must think outside of this if he wishes to be happy. And he can only do this, of course, by being with another man. Sam next asks if he would like to try it with a fox. Now, fox obviously refers to the more conservative of the three news networks. What Sam is trying to tell our protagonist is that even though he is a homosexual, he shares his conservative values. A log cabin Republican, one might say. Sam loses some subtlety when he asks him if he would like to try it in a car. Now, I don't have to tell you that the backseat of a vehicle is a common place for sexual activity. Sam next asks if he would like to try it in a tree. At this point, Sam is obviously trying to push his own environmentalist politics onto our hero. Suddenly, Sam comes up with a brilliant idea. In the dark. Would you, in the dark? What Sam is saying here is that if he closes his eyes and pretends that Sam is a woman, that would make it acceptable. Sam next asks if they could try it in the rain. Perhaps this is referring to the shower, so that the shame of the activity would quickly be washed away. One last time, Sam tries desperately to seduce our protagonist, saying, "You do not like them, so you say, but try them, and you may." Thoroughly beaten into submission, our protagonist relents and agrees to try green eggs and ham or anal sex just one time. Of course, support for the homosexual agenda, as the book is. He not only likes it, but wants it to have it all the time. Here, there, everywhere. On a plane, on a boat, on a train, in a box, in a box. All these different places he now wants to try it, and he has been converted to the homosexual agenda and will soon be lobbying Congress to allow for same-sex marriage. We seem to be out of time for today's lessons. I'd like to thank you for joining me and invite you to come back next week when I'll explain the true connotations behind, the places you'll go.